Hey, good morning, everybody. What do you think they sell at this store? Hey, good morning, everyone. We are here in Central Park in New York City, ready to volunteer for a 4-mile race this morning. But what I want to do is eventually talk about guaranteed entry into the New York City Marathon, why me and many other locals here in New York or around New York City are able to get into the New York City Marathon every year. So I just want to talk through that process for anybody who doesn't know. But first, we got to cover this race and go check in for volunteering. Cold and windy today. I got my hat, volunteer hat from last year. They just gave us a new baseball cap for volunteering right now, but the sun's finally coming up, so hopefully it'll warm up. But yeah, it's cold, and I'm on the jump team today. That just means basically wherever there is a need for people, I will be tossed over there. It could be start finish, fluid station, course marshal, we'll see. So I'm just on standby and I'll fill in wherever I'm needed. But just come on and warm up. All right, well, we've got our spot, course marshal duty out here on the west side, and at least we got hand warmers, but still chilly. I think it's actually getting colder before it gets warmer today, but it's fine. Got the hand warmers, got mittens, jackets, gloves, and just ready to get this race going and cheer these runners along.
Good job, guys. Keep going, keep going. Keep it up. Good job.
So, why am I focusing so much on today's volunteer opportunity with New York Roadrunners, but also talking about guaranteed entry into the New York City Marathon? Basically, the main way for most runners to get into the New York City Marathon guaranteed for the following year is to complete the 9+1 program with New York Roadrunners. The 9+1 program for New York Roadrunners is an opportunity for most people in the tri-state area to run a total of 9 eligible races with New York Roadrunners throughout the year prior, as well as complete 1 eligible volunteer opportunity with New York Roadrunners, and you will receive a guaranteed entry into the marathon for the following year. With this program, you might think it only impacts local runners, but the reality is it impacts everybody around the world. Why is that? Well, one, if you're local, yes, you get the chance to run the New York City Marathon by running the year prior in a whole bunch of races and volunteering for a few things. But if you're not local and you're from outside the country or just outside of the tri-state area, these entries do eat into the total number of lottery spots that will be available for those entering the general lottery. Now, the 9+1 program is not the only thing taking away general entries from the lottery. There are also corporate sponsors and corporate partners that do get guaranteed entries for people on their teams or within their own groups that they want to hand out bibs to. There are clubs that earn bids for volunteering throughout the year. And of course, there's also the charity partnerships where people can gain a bid for the New York City Marathon if they agree to meet a minimum fundraising goal. On top of that, the last thing that I'm aware of is the opportunity to time qualify for the New York City Marathon. And I actually just thought of one more. There are guaranteed spots for anybody who's completed 15 plus New York City marathons in their lifetime. Now, the thing I want to focus on is just the 9+1 program, but it's important to know that all of those different options are out there. Some of them may be right for you. You could definitely take a look online. The fundraising minimum is only around $2,500 for New York City. That may sound like a lot, but I know Boston is usually close to $10,000. So if you commit to that money and you're not able to meet the fundraising goal, it will just take the rest right out of your pocket. $2,500, in my opinion, is a little bit more manageable for most people. So what kinds of races are eligible in the 9+1 program? Most of the races on the calendar. There's a little icon that you'll see that'll tell you if it's 9+1 eligible, or a similar icon with a red line through it that'll tell you it's not eligible for the 9+1 program. And there's also a little tracker in your New York Roadrunners dashboard that will show you your progress along the way. Now, it's important to note that this tracker only counts races that you've completed. So keep in mind, I dropped out of the New York City Marathon this year. That was going to be my 9th race in the 9+1 program. And you'll see here that race is missing. Even though I started the race, even though I went through the whole morning routine of getting to Staten Island, it does not count for the 9+1. You will already see my volunteering from this morning at the Race to Deliver 4 Mile. So now that volunteer option is complete, and you'll see I'm just missing one more race, which I've already signed up for a Frosty 5K, which run or walk, I'm going to have to finish that race, cross the finish line, and I'll be able to secure my spot for 2023. Now, I've volunteered a total of 5 times, as it says in my dashboard. What are some of the ways that I recommend volunteering, or the opportunities that I recommend volunteering for, depending on your preferences? Well, volunteering on race day is a lot of fun, but it does come with a few caveats. I've both volunteered now in freezing cold weather, like this morning, and I've also volunteered for an event that was pouring rain and freezing cold the entire day. So those outdoor race opportunities can be a blast. It can be a lot of fun to cheer on your fellow runners, but just remember, if you're someone who doesn't like bad weather, those opportunities may not be right for you. On race day, there are several different positions. There are fluid stations that are responsible for filling up the entire, set of cups on the tables, making sure they don't go empty, and sometimes handing them out to runners. There are course marshal positions like I was filling in for today, where you're just keeping people inside the restricted area for the race itself, keeping bikes in the bike lane and so on, making sure that everybody's safe and, everything is controlled out on the course. There are start and finish volunteers to help with the corrals and the finish line. There's bag check. There's all sorts of opportunities like that, but all will generally be outdoors, so just keep that in mind. The other volunteering opportunity I've done once before was handing out bibs for the New York City Marathon itself at the expo. I really do recommend this as the #1 option. For one, if you're looking to run the New York City Marathon, you'd probably like the opportunity to be a part of that environment the year prior, get a chance to see everybody coming in with excitement on their face, ready to pick up their bib and ready to run the New York City Marathon. You know that that'll be you the following year if you're completing that volunteer opportunity. And of course, you're indoors in a controlled environment, so there's no really opportunity for bad weather. They train you beforehand. It's about a 4-hour shift. They give you a little session in a room where they talk about how you hand out the bib, how you need to collect proof of ID, how you need to scan their barcode, all those things. So they make sure you're up to speed on the process before they just throw you out there. It really is, again, a great experience. And unless you are running the marathon that year, like I've been doing for quite a while, it can be a little bit busy to volunteer and get your own bib and then run. It's just a lot of stuff going on. But if it's your first opportunity or your only opportunity where you're going to run the New York City Marathon, again, I really do recommend bib handouts at the expo as a volunteer choice for you. Now, to wrap up this video, why is New York Roadrunners giving out all of these bibs? Why are they taking so many opportunities away from other people around the world when they want to run the New York City Marathon? I think the simple answer is this. All of these races that happen throughout the year that people in New York City love to run really don't work without the massive amount of volunteers that come out each and every day that there's a race. And I think the one way that they can really bring out a lot of volunteer interest is to offer something of great value in return. Obviously, it doesn't really cost them anything to give someone an entry to the New York City Marathon. We still have to pay if we're a 9+1 recipient. So ultimately, they're just giving away a paid position that anybody could have paid for, and it really makes no difference to them. But in return, again, they have their races well staffed and well sorted out each and every day that there's a run going on around the city. For all of us locals, this is just how the program works. This is how we have so many great opportunities to race and run throughout the year. And unfortunately for everybody outside of New York City, it just creates that issue where the marathon lottery is so tight for all the other entrants. So that's it for today. If you have any other questions, put them down below and I'll do my best to answer them for you. Later this week, I will get out and run. I hope to share that with all of you soon. And I have some new PT workouts that I've been learning and working on that I'll try and share as well. So stay tuned, subscribe if you haven't already, and I hope to see you in the next video.